Shalom, sisters of YAH. This is Sister YAH, and today's subject is going to be about, today's topic is going to be about why are women losing interest in getting married? Now, I chose this topic because I have been seeing a numerous amount of women, matter of fact, elders, who are preaching to the younger women about marriage and speaking against marriage. And a lot of these women are either single, they are single, and some of them have been divorced multiple times. Now, these women, it's saddened me when I listen to, the stuff that they're promoting, because that tells me the state of the world we are in today, the state of what the world is today. And when I heard the message, I was like, I have to speak on this, because what I'm hearing more of is a lot of these women, they are preaching from their own philosophies. They are giving advice, but their advice is coming from their own philosophies. It is not coming, and they are pretty much, they're creating their own principles. It is not coming from Yah's word. And Yah tells us in his word that the way for us to prosper is for us to follow his commandments, to follow his teachings, his laws, his statutes, commandments. So the way for us to prosper is through his word. And what makes us wise is not our own wisdom. And it is not worldly wisdom, which is the wisdom that a lot of these women are preaching to these young girls. It is the wisdom that comes from Yah's word. That's what makes us wise women. So I wanted to speak on this because, again, like, we women who are in the truth, who know Yah, who fear him, who's really trying to live out his law, statutes, and commandments, we have to teach the younger women based on Yah's word, not based on our childhood traumas, not based on repeating the same cycles of trauma that we've experienced. And if we're going to speak on our traumas, then we need to tell these women how we have overcame these traumas so that they could overcome theirs. Because the state of our people is not in a good place. We all know that. We are in the land of our captives. So we know what our people have been through. I am speaking to the people that look like me on this video. Now, I'm not saying that my other sisters and the other, from the other nationalities, that they can't listen either. But my people, we really need to hear this message. And I'm talking to the women. Let me make that clear. This message is only for women. The daughters of Yashrael, you're going to understand me. You're going to be able to relate and understand what I'm talking about. So this message that I'm talking about, if it's negative to you, then you have to question why. Why would it be negative? Because I know that if you're really living for Yah and you're really striving to do his will, then it's not going to be negative to you. So this message is not going to be from a worldly perspective, because we have too much of that going on. We don't have enough perspectives coming from women who really teaching it from a biblical perspective. This is why the state of the world is where it is today, because we are straying so far away from the Most High Yah. We want to do our own thing. We want followers. We want to be popular. So we want to come up with our own philosophies and give advice from a broken place, instead of go and heal ourselves so we can come back and help those who are going through what we've been through. That's how it goes. So today, again, I'm going to be talking about why are women losing interest in getting married. Now, one thing I could say is the reason why, a big reason why, which I'm going to touch on some things. I want my sisters here and those who may not know what I'm talking about when I say daughters of Yashrael, I want you to tune into, I want you to listen to, because this message is for you too, it's for everyone. And I'm sure it could relate in some type of way. Just know that I'm coming from a place of love. And Yah, the Most High Yah, has put this on my heart for me to speak on. But a lot of women are losing interest in getting married because they are listening to the wrong advice. They are getting advice from foolish women that are again, like I said before, that are speaking to them from a broken place. They are teaching these women to repeat cycles of trauma. I mean, we've all, like many of us, and I'm talking about my race of people, we have been through it. Our ancestors have been through it. So right now, what we need to be doing is healing, not trying to repeat toxicity. So a lot of them are losing interest in getting married again because they are listening to the wrong advice. Everybody is clinging to advice that is not spiritual, advice that is not biblical, that doesn't come from the scriptures. The thing is, we can be successful in our relationships. When I say relationships, I mean marriages, because I'm not going to be on here trying to teach what the world is teaching, like it's okay to be out there and just sleeping around and fornicating, because that's not of YAH. So what I'm saying is, we can be successful in our marriages and our relationships, but the only way to be successful is if we follow what YAH is telling us to do to be successful. If you try to do it on your own and based on what you seen your mama do or your grandma do, fornicating or actually living with men and they're not married, you know, like these things, like living with them for years or sleeping with multiple men. If you trying to repeat that cycle, then that's what I'm talking about when I say repeating cycles of trauma. It's time to heal. It is time for us women to heal. So again, they're listening to the wrong advice. And if you're listening to advice, I'm telling these women here who are listening to women who's giving them advice, and it's not spiritual, it's not coming from YAH's word, and if they throwing their own little 2 cents in it, but you can't compare it to what's in that word, then you got to question that thing. Because I promise you, if that's what you listen to, you're not going to be prosperous. There's no way you can be prosperous in your marriage if you're trying to do it on your own, based on your own way, or based on man's philosophy, and not based on YAH's principles, what he says in his word. So right now, I'm going to share with you just a little portion of what the woman was speaking of, which caught my attention. And when I tell you, I've listened to the whole thing. I can't play the whole thing because it's very vulgar when the man speaks on here, and it was a lot. But I'm just going to play a short piece of it for you women to hear, and then I'll take it from there. But I need you all just to continue to tune in and tune into the end, because I have some great things to share that YAH has put on my heart. And this message needs to be preached. Okay, let me start this from the beginning.
Another very educational and very enlightening video with you. And this is a video where, I mean, you literally get a headache for all the women who are still interested in marriage, a relationship, or what have you, which I can't understand for the life of me why. But I want to share this with a man who's going to educate you on, I mean, just listening to it kind of gives you a headache. Trying to figure out these men, because you have so many women who are saying, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm submissive. I help with the bills. I know how to cook my behind off. I keep an organized home, a very tidy, clean home. I do it all. I'm on Jehovah God and Jesus team. Okay? I'm very respectful. I'm not stupid, but I'm wise. At the same time, I'm very respectful to my honey bear. And yet, no matter what she does, it just seems never to be good enough. And this is why you have so many women who don't care about having a man anymore. It's just way too much work. How about this? Don't take it from me. And this is coming from a man. I think when a man says certain things in terms of educating women, because now these same men that you hear all over the world coming out with these videos because they have daughters. And they're trying to educate women now because they have daughters. And the things that they have done to other people's daughters and other people's children, they don't want that done to theirs. So they're trying to educate women. So I want you to listen in and give me your take on this.
When We want the innocent girl, but she can't be innocent because we'll get bored with that. Because we be wanting a freak. But if she a freak, we don't want that, because then that means we are people. We don't really want you to have no badass body, but then if you got a regular body, we get bored with that shit, and then we'll go look girl who got the bad body. We'll say we want natural hair, but then we be looking like, oh, natural hair take upkeep, and then we'll end up going weave out of, even though you really don't want weave, you want that. So it's like everything we say we want, we get it, and we really don't want it, and we complain about every aspect of what we got from that woman. We want somebody homely, and that's a great mother, and stays out the way, and she stays home, and she haven't been with a lot of people, she don't have a lot of friends. If you don't got a lot of friends, we don't want you to have a lot of friends. But if you don't got a lot of friends, it's like, why on me all day? I see you want to be around me, she ain't doing shit, won't you go do some shit? But then if you get the woman who assertive and got her business, why always doing shit? We want the woman who not really on social media. We want you to be here, we want you to do that. But then you born. If we get the woman who got a social media, we getting jealous pics. We are the most contradictory species. We way more female than female.
Again, I only played a short clip because it's very vulgar. The man, when he speaks, I just couldn't play the whole thing. But I just want to say this. She said that a lot of women are contacting her. She's talking about the women that are saying they're doing everything and they power, they're doing everything, they're a good woman and all of these things. But they said it's still not working. My question to those women who are saying that is not, instead of saying it's not working, it's time to question, why isn't it working? That's what we need to do. Why is it not working? Is it because y'all sent that man to you? Or is it because you're settling and rebelling against y'all? That's the question that we have to ask as women. Whenever we see we doing everything in our power with the person that we're with and it's not working, because what she's saying is pretty much like they're with these men and it's not working. Why is it not working? We have to ask this question. Because again, like I said previously, if we're not doing it according to Yah and how he tells us to do it, it's not going to be prosperous. Period. You're going to have to deal with some hard suffering. And when I'm talking, I'm going to just be clear, when I'm talking about hard suffering and not doing it the way Yah tells us to do it, I mean shaking up, I mean fornicating, I mean letting the man milk the cow for free. I'm sure a lot of you may have heard this saying when it says, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? That is the truth. And that's how a lot of men see it. When you get too comfortable and you start shaking up with these men and let them get too comfortable with you, a lot of times they start seeing your imperfections. And guess what? They start getting aggravated with you. And then after they're aggravated with you, you know what happens after that? I think I made a mistake. Then they start having wandering eyes. Because again, you don't have no kind of commitment. All you're doing is playing house. But at the end of the day, it's no kind of commitment. If something happens to that man, you're not responsible. You have no say-so. You know who has a say-so? His family. You have no say-so. So for the women who's shacking up and don't feel like they say it's common law marriage, but they don't feel like they need to be married, I'm telling you, you can go along like that. But when that time comes and let's just say something has to happen to that man, you're not going to have no voice. You won't be able to have nothing to say. Everything, all the rights are going to go to his family on what they want to do. And I've seen it happen multiple times, where that woman is treated horribly by the family. Because many times they feel like, y'all wasn't married. I'm responsible. So if y'all build anything together, guess what? What you think gonna happen with that? Some of that stuff going to go to his family, or what was his going to go to his family. It's not going to, that's the ones who's going to be able to get it, not you. Unless y'all have some children together. And then if he has outside children, then now they got to split that. So again, you have to ask yourself, why is it not working? Am I doing it the way I want to do it, or the way YAH tells me to do it? And I'm coming from a place of understanding, because I wasn't always where I am today. But I'm one of those women who can speak from my traumas, but when I speak, it's because I'm trying to help other women come out of it. I'm not going to speak to you and teach you to do something that I know kept me stuck and in bondage. So the question is, again, are you doing it according to YAH, or are you doing it according to how you want to do it? So that's what I wanted to, that's some of what I wanted to touch on. But I have some notes. I'm telling you ladies now, because for me to remember all of this, I can't do this on my own. I needed to put some notes together so I could remember what I wanted to speak on. But I'm going to let you listen to another piece of the recording before I move forward.
And I choose to say that way. Have I ever been married? 2.5 times. And I say 0.5 because I was engaged to be married again. Yeah. And I've been on both sides of the spectrum, if you will. Being single is so much easier. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, it says if you get married, you'll do okay. But if you stay single, you'll do even better. Who don't want better? This is why now going forward, I'm looking forward to hanging out with women. Well, at least when you're 40, you should already have your children. You should already be done with these circus clowns out here. You know what I'm saying?
So, as you ladies heard, she says she's been married 2.5 times. So 2 times, and she's been engaged. Now, think about that. 2 times, and then she's been engaged for a 3rd time. What does that say? So that's what I'm talking about when I say giving advice from a place of their trauma. Teaching women to repeat the same cycle of trauma. Now, she mentioned something in here about women over 40 that you should already have kids. I know women who I went to school with who didn't have children until in their 40s because they met their husband later in life. So when they met their husband, they were pushing 40 and end up having children with their husband. So again, when you're speaking from your own, pretty much from your own philosophy, how you think things should go, but not according to what YAH says. We know that people in the Bible had children at later ages too. Sarah, Abraham, remember? Abraham and Sarah. Sarah had a child at an older age. Then she quoted 1 Corinthians 7:8. Now let me read 1 Corinthians 7:8, because we have to be careful with that, because sometimes how it could work whenever it's not something that's coming from YAH, the adversary has a way of doing things. And I'm sure this woman in her heart, she may be coming from a sincere place, but again, it doesn't make it right, because you're not preaching from a healed place. You're preaching based on how you feel about men. And then you said you done been through cycles of marriage. You done been through 2 marriages and an engagement. Let these women have the opportunity too. Teach them how to do it right. Teach them what you did wrong so that they can do it right. Because I'm sure the man wasn't all at fault. Sometimes we got to look too and say, how did I contribute? Instead of just blaming the man for everything. Because we have to remember the men that we end up with is the men that we chose. And we got to ask, why did we choose them? Why? So the scripture she quoted was 1 Corinthians 7-8. And it says, now for the matters you wrote about, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But since sexual immorality is occurring, Each man should have sexual relations with his own wife, and each woman with her own husband. Now, to the unmarried and the widows, I say, it is good for them to stay unmarried, as I do. But if they cannot control themselves, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. Now, when we read this is, yes, it does say that it's best not to marry, right? But it says that if you're dealing with sexual immorality, or if you're dealing with, you can't control yourself, then you should get married. Now, what she's talking about, is that even possible in today's time? Now, how many women that you know, the reality of it is, what she is preaching to women is to, I'm going to be honest, it's to be whores. And the truth, to be either, I'm going to just say it, to go into an alternative lifestyle. You guys know what that means. I have to be careful how I word myself on here. But to turn into an alternative lifestyle with another woman, or to deal with married men, sleep around, be whores. That's really what that's coming from. That's how women who sleep with married men and deal with married men, that's how they think. So you can play around. You don't have to worry about having no attachment. I don't want to be married. I don't need no attachment. So that's what it leads to. I don't want to be attached to no man. I don't want to be married to no man. I just, if I could just have fun with him from time to time. Because she also goes on to say how she has fun. She has friends and she has fun with them, and she go out with them from time to time. But my question is, the truth is, what man is going to really entertain you like that? And you have the mentality of, I don't want to be married and I don't want no attachment. What type of man going to really entertain you like that all the time? Let's be truthful. Married men, okay? So that is just the truth. Now, she is saying because sexual immortality is occurring. So really, although she's saying it's best to be unmarried, the truth is, how many women going to want to just stay unmarried and not have any type of relations with men? I'm just going to do this for the rest of my life. Now, if you're going to devote yourself to YAH and say, this is all I'm going to do and I don't want this, I'm putting all of my hard efforts into seeking YAH, and I just want to devote myself solely to him, do it. Praise YAH. But the reality is, how many women going to do that? Let's be truthful. That is not even like, come on. How many women you see like that? I mean, it's not common. I'm talking about younger women. Because sometimes I know, like, some women, when they get older, they become, elders, and they have lost their husbands and their widows. They don't want to be remarried because they love their husbands, and they feel like, you know what? No man could ever replace him. I just want to be single. And that is understandable, because now this woman, she has earned that right to be able to feel that way, because she done been married. She experienced marriage. Okay? So the reality is, when she's saying it's best to be unmarried, let's think about that. Really, what's going to come from that is either that woman is going to desire to be in an alternative lifestyle with another woman like herself, or she's going to want to sleep around, whore around with different men who have women already, or married men. These men are going to already be involved with women. Okay? That's just the reality of it. It's not going to be no single man just wanting to play around with you. That's not how it works. So she's really teaching the young women to be whores, to sleep around with married men, and to really start desiring the opposite, not the opposite, the same sex. That's really what she's teaching. So we're going to listen to another clip. This is the last clip. We have to be careful who we listen to. We have to be careful, because it is crazy out here. You want success, you have to do it Yah's way. It's just no way around it. You can try, but there's no way around it. It's just no way around it. Okay, let's listen.
You know, but going forward, I look for women who already have children, because by the time you're 40 and you see what type of dudes out here, and you still out here looking for some man to get married to, I don't know what's the problem. You need some serious psychiatric help, honey, because I don't understand. But I also realize that you have a lot of women who love drama. A lot of these women are not mentally, they have mental illness. They need to be on medication.
Well, that part about mental illness, that part was true. Because we all know that the adversary can mix some truth with lies. That part was true. And I'm not calling her the adversary. She's just speaking based on her experience and where she's been, where she comes from. But again, that doesn't make it right when you're speaking to other people and giving that advice. Because she says she's an advice coach. So this lady, she says she just takes donations. She don't charge a set fee. It's just whatever somebody wants to donate to her. So she's literally just going around just giving advice freely, and they just donate whatever they want. So we have to be careful, because look what she's saying, and she's saying, okay, they have mental illness, but to be able to have that kind of mentality, what does that say? That's a form of mental illness too, because you're not dealing with reality. Your reality is not everybody else's reality. We can't generalize men. Not all men are the same. And some of what that man was saying in the recordings, that is true for a worldly man. Worldly men think like that. Men that fear Yah don't think like that. And I'm not talking about men that's playing with Yah. I'm talking about real men that fear Yah don't think like that. Period. The men she's talking about are not healed. These are not men that are healed. So, next thing we'll talk about. Again, we're talking about why are women losing interest in getting married. I'm going to name a few reasons why women are losing interest in getting married. One of them is women are too busy chasing men instead of chasing the Most High Yah. Now, that is the truth. That is the truth. Women are chasing the men instead of going in the word and seeking Yah. Focusing on him. Because if she would focus on him and build herself up, she won't have to go looking for a man. She wouldn't have to go chasing a man. She would find that man. That man eventually is going to come to her in Yah's right timing if she has faith and be patient. But if she does not have faith and be patient, and she's going around chasing men and trying to do it on her own, then guess what? No, you're not going to get success like that. And that can make you lose interest in getting married. Because now you start looking and start generalizing all men and feeling like all men are the same. But I tell you this much, all men are not the same. That is not the truth. They truly have men that love Yah and fear Yah. And they have these men who are looking for the right woman, who are looking for upright women. You have to ask yourself, where are you looking for that man? Where? And again, whenever you focus on you and you focus on Yah, you don't really have to go out like that and looking for that man, to be honest. That man gonna find you. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from Yah. That's Yah's word. He will find you, because you will stand out, because there's not many in the world like that. There's not many women like that. That's why it says virtuous woman is hard to find. She's far more precious than rubies. She is not easy to find. You won't find her in a crowd of people. It'll be hard to find her. When you find her, you're going to be able to distinguish. When a man finds that type of woman, he's going to be able to distinguish her. He's going to be able to say, hold on now. She's going to catch his eye, because she's going to be totally different from the rest of the world. So if you're doing what all of the women of the world are doing, then yes, you can. Yes, you can lose faith in marriage. You can start feeling like, okay, I'm losing interest in getting married, because you're not doing it according to Yah. You're just following what the world is doing and following worldly advice. Another one is they carry baggage and trauma and they are not healing. That's another one that causes a woman to lose interest in getting married, because everything that I name and everything I've been talking about is operating based off of trauma. And if you don't heal that, then you're going to keep attracting men that are filled with trauma too. Like attract like. You can't attract a healthy man if you're not healthy. Period. Another one, the reason why women are losing interest in getting married is women are not looking for good men. And to be honest with you, they want the tough man. They want the womanizer. They want the toxic man. That is the truth. And if you guys have been listening, following this channel for a minute and been looking at some of the other videos, I spoke about this thing before. I mean, I have a son, and he is, when I tell you, college bound. He's about to graduate. This guy here, when I tell you, fears the Most High, loves YAH, and when I tell you, is upright. He handles his business. I mean, he's literally building himself up for his wife, for his family, and he wants to do it the right way. He wants to do it YAH's way. The women that he's been coming across, these women, you know what they want? They want the women, they want the men that is just flocking after them and chasing them. These men, like when I say flocking after them and chasing them, I'm talking about men who are womanizers, men who are looking only to sleep with them, men who are looking for the woman to take care of them. These are young girls, and it's so sad. It just saddens my heart, you know, because it's like, my goodness, the state of the world. These babies, because they're babies to me, they need somebody to be teaching them the right thing. And you have women giving advice like what I just shared with you guys, and they're designed, they're not looking for that. They don't understand that the man that they need is in their face. But they don't want the man they need. They want what they want because they haven't been shown better. That's the only reason why. They just don't know better. They just don't know better. And it saddens me to the core. But that's what's going on. That's all he sees around him. You know, so of course he knows he got to get a set apart woman. But at the same time, I'm just saying that his observation, just seeing that, it's like, wow, this is what I see around me. And then guess what? Then you have the women, the young girls who's flocking after him, who's trying to tempt him and want something out of him too. And he's like, no, it's not happening here, you know, because he fears YAH. So there are good men. It's just about, where are you looking? Are you looking from a place of toxicity? Or are you looking for a healed man, a healthy man? Because the one that's healed and healthy, he's not going to be in that bunch of men that's just flocking after you, chasing after you, and just, you glorifying you, because some women want to be glorified because they think, I'm the stuff, or whatever it is. But when it takes two in a relationship, which again, I'm not preaching fornication when I say relationship. I teach our children that you date first. You date, not even date. I don't call it date. You court. You get to know each other. You build on friendship. But that, because I've been rambling off. But another one is, let me see. They're listening to the wrong advice, which is what I already shared with you guys. And then I'm gonna say this: if you desire to be married, it's very important that you listen to people, either elders who have been married, who are married, who have been married, or women who have been married for a long period of time. I have been married for over 20 years, and I'm not saying this as a badge of honor, but I'm just letting you know I've been married for over 20 years, so I know something about marriage. I know something about marriage, because a lot of women are listening to women who have not been married for long periods of time, who have been divorced multiple times, or just who have not been married, period. Listen to people who have some type of success in marriage, who has some experience, not just some 2, 3, 6 years. That's not nothing when it comes to marriage. Who have decades of marriage, because marriage is not easy. The woman is talking like it's supposed to be easy. Marriage is not easy. You have to be both willing to put in the work, because you're coming from two different backgrounds and trying to put something together. Marriage doesn't go like that. It's not fairy tale like what you see on TV or the Cinderella cartoon movie. That's not how that goes. Marriage is not like that in real life. You have to put in work. And when you see somebody is prospering and doing well in their marriage, it's because they had to put in a lot of work to get there. Period. Another thing is, women aren't looking for the man who fears Yah. I just kind of touched on that. That's another reason why they are losing interest in getting married, because they keep looking at the wrong man. They keep looking at the unhealed man. They keep looking at the man that's going to dog them out and mistreat them, who's not really trying to live right. If that man don't fear Yah, I'm sorry, you're not going to have no success in that. Period. Yah's word tells us so. He tells us how to be prosperous. That man has to fear Yah. Another thing, they don't hold themselves to high standards. That could also be a reason why women are losing interest in getting married. Because if you hold yourself to high standards, you're not going to want to be playing around with no man that's married in a relationship. You would look at that as, I value myself enough to know that I should be the only one in that man's life. I won't do that to my sister, because that stuff is painful for women. I know we have grandmothers and mothers, and I'm sure they all had to experience that when it comes to, infidelity, or, some type of, or man going out and whoring around and having all types of children, and we have a lot of fathers who are rolling stones. That stuff hurt our grandmothers and our mothers. Whoever been through that, that was painful for them. So you have to value yourself enough to know that I'm not going to be no number two. I'm going to be number one, and I'm not going to disrespect a woman like that, because I wouldn't want a woman disrespecting me like that whenever I get in that position of being married. It's loving your neighbor as yourself, loving your sister as yourself, and saying, no way, not here. Holding that man accountable, because you know what? If we would do that as women, these men wouldn't be able to go around sleeping around and cheating like that. They do it because we allow it. And that's just the truth. Let me see. In here, why women are losing interest of getting married when they become content in being the other woman. I just spoke of those things. Another thing is that I have, let's see. They're not willing to embrace their femininity, which is the femininity that Yah has gifted us with as women. We want to be hardcore. We want to be so independent. We want to be stronger than the man, more independent than the man. If you're too strong and you're too independent, guess what that's telling the man? You don't need me. In a relationship with a man, is supposed to be interdependent with your husband. It's not supposed to be, I don't need you. If the man feel you don't need him, then what's the use? He got to be able to come in and he got to be able to operate in his role as a man. Men and women are not the same. We weren't designed to be the same. We weren't designed to have the same roles. Period. And that femininity mentality, that stuff comes, the origins of that stuff is from slavery. The way we were conditioned. When we watched the men get whipped and beaten, and we had to stand there and watch it. And then after that, so as we raising our sons, now we got to protect our sons. We feel in our hearts we got to protect our sons from having to go through what their forefathers, their daddies, or where the men went through, of being beaten and being treated horribly by the slave masters. So now we trying to protect them. And so what we do, we raise them like, the truth is we just coddle them, and we raise them feminine. And then the girls, what we do with them, I don't know if you heard this saying. It says we love our sons, and we raise our daughters. So we more harder on the girls, and that is just the truth. A lot of us from trauma, we are more hard on our girls than we are with the boys. We coddle the boys more than the girls. So that stuff started from slavery, with that femininity stuff. With us, because we felt like we had to be so strong. Now we got to be strong, because guess what? Now we have to take care of everything, because our husbands were stripped from us. Not me personally, but you know what I'm saying. That's our ancestors. Their blood is all through us. So another thing is, I'm wrapping up. I'll be finishing a few. I'll be almost finished. But let's see. Yeah, but so I'm gonna say this too for the older women. This is what the older women are really supposed to be doing. It says the older women are to teach the younger women. It says in Titus 2, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, just set apartness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, which means taking care of the home, handling your business. Your home should be the most important thing to you, not gossip, not everything that's going on outside of your home. To be good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Elohim be not blasphemy. Be not blasphemy. Blasphemy. That's what the older women are supposed to be teaching the younger women. So that other stuff, you got to question when you hear that. That's not Yah's word. You're supposed to be teaching these young women to love their husbands, because many of them wants to be married. Why discourage that? 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexual immoral person sins against his own body. Sexual immorality, it means in the Strong's, in the Greek 4202, fornication, whoredom. That's what and it says also it can mean idolatry and harlotry, figuratively, idolatry. So it can also mean that as well. So fornicating, again, that message that we heard earlier, that's preaching women to fornicate. Ain't no woman that you talking about, you an elder and you talking about being single and that's the best place to be. But you already done experienced marriage. And you trying to discourage these women from marriage because it didn't work for you? No. No. Women, I just want to tell you all, don't give up on marriage. And I'm ending this message with this. Young women, don't give up on marriage. Even older women, don't give up on marriage if that's what you desire. If that's what you desire, you keep seeking Yah. Keep working on yourself. Keep developing yourself and just focusing on Yah, pouring into Him. You pray for what you want for. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I prayed with what I wanted since a child. And I prayed for a husband and 2 children, but I didn't just pray for a husband. I prayed for a husband that would fear the Most High, and I prayed for 2 children and a half. I actually prayed to have a family because I came from some stuff. I came from trauma, but I also prayed to have a family that would fear the Most High. Yah hears our prayers. It's just in His timing, and it's through our patience. So pray, and when you pray about it, don't doubt that thing. Don't lose hope in marriage. Don't lose faith in marriage. Do it right, because I'm gonna end with this. I know they're saying now this right here is a big thing I'm hearing, where they say that it's more women in the world than men. So women are feeling that they have to settle for any piece of man, or even for married men, just because of the fact that there's more women to men. But let me tell you this. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That may be true that there's more women to men, but the truth is a lot of women need healing. And many of them won't get it. That's just the truth, because many of them are following the ways of this world. And that's what they want. And some women is going to choose to stay in their toxicity, and they're going to choose to stay in trauma. But to those who don't want to stay there, who really want to heal, who really want to get better, who really want their lives to change, who really want their lives to prosper, I'm talking to you. Many of those women won't heal. You be that woman that heal. Because guess what? That man that fears Yah, that man that fears the Most High, that is the man who's going to see you. And that's what you're looking for. When you heal, then you're going to attract the healed man. That's what you want. A healed man don't want these all toxic women that's all just out in the street and don't care. And just they live in, they're not healed. They don't want that. So So you be that one to heal, and I'm going to end with this with this short scripture, and that's it. Sirach chapter 26, it says, happy the husband of a good wife. The number of his days will be doubled. A loyal wife brings joy to her husband, and he will finish his years in peace. A good wife is a generous gift bestowed upon him who fears the Most High. Who fears the Most High. Whether rich or poor, his heart is content. A smile ever on his face. So he who fears Yah does deserve you. They do. Love you, my sisters. You all take care. And thank you for tuning in. Please like and comment and let me know how you feel about this message and if you received something from the message. But I pray that you prosper in all that you do. So shalom.